Good afternoon. Welcome to the fourth session of Happy Parenting and Holistic Habits. So as usual, let me just brief on the main event behind these sessions. So it's the South Asian International Summit for Quality Education 2022, which will be held from 28th to 30th October 2022 in Lucknow, India. So I take this an opportunity to welcome you all for this summit in India. So for today's session, we have educators from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Bhutan. So on behalf of the Sahi Association, I would like to warmly welcome you all for this session. So, we have Mrs. Rowena Ajay Phillips, who is the main organizer behind these sessions, because she was with us for the past two sessions on happy parenting and holistic habits. So, ma'am, this is your turn to give a brief introduction on this.
Welcome our panelists, our expert panelists once again. I especially want to welcome Ms. Thelai Wangmo from Bhutan. She is Director of Shari ECCD, and she is the proprietor of Shari ECCD Center, Paro. By profession, she is a primary teacher, served the royal government of Bhutan for 24 years and had her early retirement and initiated and operating in the Early Childhood Education Center in the year 2013. Her passion is to work for younger children. Also, I would warmly welcome our esteemed panelist here, Ms. Sumona Parvez. She is a teacher, or if I am I'm correct, in EBAC Public School. Did I say it correctly, ma'am? It's not mentioned in detail, but I know that you are associated with the EBAC Public School Bangladesh, and we welcome you once again. I would want to hand it over to Hasani for further introducing our esteemed panelist.
Thank you, ma'am. And we have Ms. Rita Agrawal from India. Ms. Rita is a consultant psychologist. She's the editor of the e-newsletter Mind Matters, and a trainer, a TEDx speaker from Nagpur, Maharashtra, India. So welcome, ma'am. And we have Mrs. Rupa Sen. She has been a passionate teacher, an administrator, a coach, and a strategic planner. And she has experience for nearly 3 decades in national and international curriculum pedagogy. So she has been a constructivist who creates new pathways through innovation and integrity technologies to the classroom. So welcome, ma'am. And we also have Ms. Farzana Kausar from Pakistan. She's a teacher at Greenville International School. So welcome, ma'am, for this panel discussion.
Hasani, so with that, once again, we would want to open the discussion on the topic of our futuristic Thursdays for happy parenting and holistic habits. So we've had a couple of sessions in the past, and they've been successfully implemented, but we are really excited to hear from all our esteemed panelists. So I just want to pose the first question to you, and each panelist can continue giving their views and expert opinion on this particular perspective of. I would like to ask and put across this question to understand from your perspective that what is the importance of parenting in early childhood, and how do you see the role of a parent in your area of practice?
No, I know that was the importance of parenting in early childhood. I know that parents has a great role in this age because, according to my knowledge, uh, when students come to us, 80% behavior he has already developed. Only 20% work for us. So parenting is more important thing in my views, because parents don't know how to treat their child in this age. They treat them as generally. So I thought that there is an important need to train the parents how to train their child in early childhood according to their developmental milestones, naturally and naturally. So this is more important to train the parents in this age.
So, very warm welcome to all of you for this wonderful session on the Zoom across South Asia. Happy to be part of it, and thank you for inviting me. As I see, most of you are educationists, and I'm a psychologist. So, as a mental health professional, I would speak my mind because in my practice, I see about 50% of my practice revolves around children and 50% around teens and adults. So according to the psychological thought and theory, the first 5 years are very crucial for child development. And that's where the role of parents come into play. Because depending upon how the parent nurtures the child, the habits, the discipline, the attitude, the thought processes, the emotional security, the sense of identity, they all get formed during the first 5 years. Jokingly, we say parenting ends at 6 years. When the child goes to school, standard 1, your task of parenting is over and the autonomy of the child begins. So that's how important it is. In my area, parents are pretty active and alert and aware, and they would like to attend a lot of sessions on parenting. Awareness is growing among parents. So parents have begun to understand that parenting is not a natural process, but a well thought out, planned process where they would come to seek guidance from people like me.
Well said, ma'am. A very important point to mention that parents are coming to awareness that it's not just a natural gift, but they have to take advice and guidance in parenting practices. May I request Rupa ma'am to also give her opinion?
So, good afternoon to everybody. From Miss Rita Agarwal, I take this cue, and I would like to say that in my journey of 28 years, I've seen that the crucial time in a child's life is between 0 to 5 years, is what she said. No mother is pre-trained like a student to become a mother. So when she welcomes her baby for the first time, it's very important to nurture the child in a way that the needs of the child is fulfilled well enough, which becomes the threshold for moving forward in life. What Rita ma'am just now said, we do not impart any other training except the emotional and the social development of the mind, which means giving the child comfort, um, you know, understanding his emotions, regulating it, helping and facilitating the little baby to move in life seamlessly. So if there is a gap in the early childhood days, there surely, what Sumana asked that question, there will be a reflection and consequences as the child becomes an adult. There is no doubt of it. The gaps, more it becomes pronounced when the child has grown up into an adult. However, now we see lots and lots of new age parents are taking the help of coaches, and they're trying to understand how should we nurture our little baby. We just receive the little star as a gift from God, but we don't know how to take it forward. So I did not see that past 28 years when I started as a teacher, but now I see that each parent is considering his role as very, very important. because they see a lot of damage that is done, and the fallout of that is not desirable when the child becomes an adult.
Okay, I'm also a parent. I have two children, one daughter and one son. In early childhood, parents have a vital role. From childhood, parents should be behave friendly with their children. In our country and nowadays, because nowadays it is digital globalization. For digital globalization nowadays, parents are very busy with their jobs, with their duties, and with the ICT projector or ICT based communication based apps like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and parents have not enough time to spend their children. It is very harmful for their childs. And nowadays, I think it's become lacking in the relationship with children, and the bad impact is growing day by day. It is very harmful for our society and for our nation.
Thank you so much. Absolutely, it's a digital era, and it's a totally different ball game coming to parenting practices when it is about handling the digital era as well. So thank you for your opinion as well.
As an early childhood educator in my community in this country, Bhutan, for the last 10 years, and what I have observed and experienced is the early childhood education development centers in Bhutan is growing wider, and our children are given the opportunity to avail the service in whichever way it is possible for them. But my feeling and my thinking is no matter how far we grow, one of the most important pillars for the effective and the successful early childhood education program is the parents' participation, because parents and teachers are the great significant adults, in fact, the pillars of the child's development. Both parents and teachers have a great influence in laying the foundation in the lives of the children. So therefore, to educate a child, we need to educate the parents. And therefore, parenting education in early childhood education is very, very important. Over to you, madam.
Thank you so much. Well said, ma'am, that it's a very important role that parents are trained and they know what to do. So it impacts the child all through.
Well, we have psychologists here, we have teachers here, we have accountants here, we have people, I mean, delegates from many professions. So y'all are trained for that. So what do you think about this training when it comes to parenting? Do y'all think that parents should be trained for parenting? So what's your opinion on this? When it comes to parenting, I mean, do y'all think that we should get some kind of training?
In India, a new trend has started, which is known as Garbh Sanskar. It's a Hindi word. Garbh means womb, and Sanskar means culture, which means that you start giving culture or lessons to the mother when she's pregnant and she's carrying a child in her womb. So the training and education starts before the child is born. And the training and education starts when the child is conceived. And there is a beautiful story about the father of Venus Williams, the tennis star. There are two sisters, Venus, and I'm forgetting her sister's name. Both are world champions and tennis stars. And the father once told the story. So Venus and Serena, their father and their parents had the story to tell that we prayed to God before my wife conceived, and we prayed to God for daughters, the first daughter and then the second daughter. And we planned the pregnancy and we planned everything And then we even worked on our own mindsets to give birth to healthy children and to make them into tennis stars. It was such an amazing story which I heard once. This is how hard parents can work on giving birth to their children if they are conscious parents. So what I want to say is that the training could be self-training. The training could be from experts from outside, but training your own mind before you conceive. It's very easy for a woman to conceive, right? But it's not easy to become a parent. So parenting has to be a very conscious process from conception to giving birth and to nurturing.
Nowadays, it is very, very important because most parents are working people who become parent. When two of them get married, they are working, they hardly have time for themselves. How are they going to give time, take enough and more responsibility for the little star? So I think it is important to develop a conscious thinking pattern before you deliver the child. The process of pregnancy continues, but both the father and the mother needs to undergo an conscious, intentional training that we are going to take responsibility of our little star and we will continue as a matter of practice. So to me, Hasini, this has been a practice. You don't give up parenting even if your child is 30 years old. You don't have to be an overarching parent then, but you'll have to be watchful and be responsible, make them responsible in the journey. However, as you rightly said, when does the responsibility begin? It begins right there when the little star is there with both the parents as a gift from God, I repeat, where the parents must know that it is their responsibility. They can't push it on the extended family members to raise their kid because they don't have the time. They are working parents and extremely busy. So to me, I definitely will see this trend coming up more and more, that responsible parenting will become the very norm few years down the line.
Yes, it is important for parents to get trained in parenting because I believe that parenting is an art. It requires a lot of time, dedication, and hard work. There is no parenting manual that it is perfect for everyone, right? Effective parenting also involves many qualities like showing your love, providing support, setting limits for your child, being a role model, teaching the responsibilities to your children, making a healthy family environment, and etc. Being a good parent means you need to teach your children the moral values, what is right and what is wrong. So I think all of us do not have all the skills. So that's how I feel that we need to learn the skills, and parenting, it's a must and it's necessary in the early childhood education programs.
Sumona.
Thank you, Ms. Hasini. In my childhood, I spent many times with my parents, as like I play various types of games, carom board, ludo, or hide and seek, that type of games I played. But nowadays, we see that parents are very busy with their jobs and with their social networking. And I think this is the reason for making a lack in the communication with parents and their children. So that there is making a gap, and our nowadays our children becoming growing with the insufficient mental growth, and they have various types of mental disease, and that the reason nowadays it is very increasing disease, as like I think mental problem, like autism. It is called autism, and I think this is the reason for the mental gap and mental communication with their parents. So that I think nowadays parents need parenting and parenting teaching, teaching and parenting skills, develop their skills, I think.
We say that this is the level, three months levels, according to when mother is conceive, pregnancy. This is a 3 months process, brain development, activities, and these are the activities in parenting. Duration of 3 months, 9 months, three, and 3. And mostly parents are said that we are busy and no time to give their children. So there is a technique and use an IEP plan for parents and children are both, because today more parents said that we are busy and have no time to give their children. So as a trainer, we said them, give them your 24-hour schedule and we give them a 30-minute slot to your child. Because according to my knowledge, 30 minutes to give them your child in a day. Just ask him about his routine, what you did, and what your plan, and how was your day. So I thought that parenting is most important to bring a positive social member in the society. So IEP plan is most important and used in individual parenting for students to give them time and positive members of the society. So parents need trainings from us. So we make IEP plan for them and make them how to train your child in society and be a positive persons of the society. Which thing I said that IEP plan.
So it was kind of a 360-degree answer from like uh, most of the parts of the Asian countries. So it was so wonderful to share all your experiences in like how training is required when it comes to parenting. So thank you very much. So I guess we can move ahead with the next question with Ms. Robina.
Yes, I think our next question was about is parenting a skill or it's natural? So we've already, I mean, that's the whole beauty of having experts. You went ahead of it and explained the whole thing all over, even in greater detail to us. So let me ask you, out of curiosity, one of this question, that what could be some of your recommendations to train parents in the area of nurturing their child to manage digital technology? Considering the fact that we are studying, children are studying online, and there is no way that they can get rid of mobile or technology even at an early age. So what would be some of your recommendations that, or in what way can parents be trained to manage this digital technology with respect to parenting? Please.
So I think the first thing a mother or a father needs to have consent amongst themselves that whatever they speak to the child, it cannot be two differing perspective or two different thoughts, messages sent to the child. It has to be one. And the one message that should go to the child is how much is too much. That means you have to give a time to the child to do his homework, to do the classwork, play a little bit of game, but there has to be a boundary where both parents will have to agree to the terms and conditions of that boundary. And seriously maintain that boundary. Nobody creates a boundary to be dismissed by the other parent. That is going to send a wrong signal to the child. So what happens is, in the past 2 years during the corona, I have got these parents coming up with this question, same question, that the child is not even sleeping. Sleep doesn't come. He's still using that gadget as a toy and he's playing till 12 o'clock in the night. This was my small little suggestion, that please create a boundary. How much is too much? Discuss amongst yourselves and make sure that two partners, both of you are sending the same message to the child. And if the child creates a tantrum, please don't give that gadget to resolve the tantrum. You have to be sometimes firm and not take the easy route out, that the child is crying, okay, give the telephone to the child and finish. He's happy, back once again. You have already spoiled his life. Every time he needs something, he will get an easy route out by creating a tantrum or a way that you succumb to that pressure, and he will then use this technique all throughout his life. This was my suggestion.
Wonderful, ma'am. Really, really beautifully said that consensus of both parents and none of the parents breach the boundaries. Thank you so much. Who would want to add or express their views? Please go ahead. Rita, ma'am, I see you.
See, my take on this is that we have gone through abnormal times. And we were compelled due to the pandemic to go online with education, with interaction. We are still on the Zoom today.
Right.
But thankfully, in India, the schools have reopened physically. And I would say it's something like this, that in 2 years, when we have gone online, the habits of children have changed, definitely. Children have become addicted to technology, addicted to online games and whatnot. And they have lost so many other learning habits which were good. But I would say as a psychologist that it will take some time for children to unlearn and get into new habits once again. And we must be a little more patient with them, because once the physical schools begin and children are into their normal routine, for example, physical activity, sports, games, interacting with friends, going for outings, hiking, trekking, the digital world will shrink again to what it was earlier, pre-COVID. But we have to help the children to go back to the pre-COVID times, which is not going to be easy.
Right.
How we do it is, of course, like what Rupaji said, is put boundaries or restrict the time. So I know a lot of parents who would restrict digital time for tiny tots only on weekends. The full week they are outdoors, playing with friends, going to parks, riding a cycle, playing football games, and playing games online is allowed only on weekends. So this digital discipline is a must, which parents understand but don't know how to implement it. And that's a tall order. It's easy to give gyan, but not easy to implement it. Thank you.
Wonderful, ma'am. Truly so insightful that, exercising the patience, because once at least, in India, a lot of schools have opened up, and like you said, that so parents need to know that the children will take some time to unlearn and go back. So exercising patience is key. Well said.
So before I go to the final question, let me quickly go to the third question. Is parenting a skill or a natural gift? For me, I should say it is a skill that needs to be learned, because there are different types of parenting style. And I, as an early childhood educator, I find this very important, because how a child can develop his or her potential to become a better student and and become a productive person in life depends largely on the quality of the care and education that is given in the early years. And this all depends on your style of parenting. So that's why I say that parenting is a skill and then we should learn it. And when I come to the next question, maybe the final question, how are parents today prepared to handle the digital challenges? Well, in Bhutan, I don't know how prepared we are, but what is important is we need to be more mindful and careful in this. Children are deprived from the play. Their play is substituted by mobile phones and digitals, and I'm sure many of you will accept this. Mm, Children are deprived from the play because their play is substituted by the mobile phones and televisions, as I said. Sorry. One of the major reasons for decline of play in early childhood is also the increase in screen time, whether it is television, mobile phone, laptops, tablets, or whatever. A study of brain development was considered on the screen time. And according to the results, spending more than 7 hours daily on the smartphones and tablets may change the structure of the child's brain. So this is what the researchers say. No? So as somebody mentioned that there should be a limit in the screen time. Excessive exposure to screens, especially at early ages, has been associated with many problems. So I think we need to be more mindful and careful of how to prepare ourselves in this field, especially to handle the digital challenges, because especially when the children, I'm an early childhood educator, and then my children in the early childhood education center are 2 years, 6 months to 5 years. And what we have been noticing is many children are driven by the mobile phones. And because they are driven by the mobile phones, it really affects their communication. And I'm sure many of you will understand with me that we have two types of language, the receptive language and the expressive language. So when children are driven by the mobile phones, it affects their expressive language, so which means it delays their communication. So in these cases, we have to be mindful and careful of how to limit the screen time to our children.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was so informative to what you said, that the structure of the brain literally changes if there is no limit to screen time, and a great insight on how it can badly affect the child's development. Yes, Ms. Simona, do you want to add? And we have Ms. Farzana.
We can arrange some outdoor games like football, cricket, or other various types of local games, and we can go outside for hang out with our children for become them happy, and we can visit historical places with our childs and amusement park, and we can spend quality time with our children to get rid from the addiction of devices, I think.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. Well said. Just changing the practices and not just wondering how, but just distracting them, going out, going to various places, and there you go. They have no time to sit on their gadgets. So thank you so much. That's very insightful. Yes, so with that thought, I think we are almost up with the time, and I would like to pose a few concluding remarks from our panelists. I really like some of the things. There's a limitation of time, but we heard so many insightful things, and glad it's on live YouTube so we can revisit and hear the expert comments once again. Rupa ma'am spoke about thinking pattern. It's a conscious intentional thing. Parenting is conscious and intentional, and it is a practice. So, and regarding the digital technology, how both the parents are on the same page, because, then if it's on a different page, this was really insightful. Also, Miss Tinley said about parenting is an artwork, and parenting is value, which is perfect. We have to give love, affection to our children. It is parenting have different styles, and of course you also enlightened us on how the structure of the brain changes. Rita ma'am spoke about how from a psychological point of view, how we have to exercise patience, how we have to bring in digital discipline, and how we encourage our students to unlearn and learn the new habits again, and how important parenting as taking training on parents on parenting skills is so important. Ms. Farzana also mentioned a very good thing, where it's okay, we integrated as part of our daily activity, that if no matter how busy we are, 30 minutes we have to spend with our child. Ask them what you did for today, what happened today. So parents are busy with social media and with their work, but these 30 minutes are really, really important. Ms. Simona also told us that how parents are busy, and how they are busy social networking also, which is negatively affecting the child. So it's a great idea to ourselves as parents move away from the digital world, go out with the children. So we are also away off our screens, and we are spending time with them. So I think we're really privileged to have all the expert advice from different expertise, our educators, our early educating practitioners, and psychologists. So we're thankful for having this whole perspective, and I'm sure all of us definitely have benefited, and those who watch it also are going to gain a lot of their answers from it. So I think we've passed the question answer time, but we've already got so much clarity. So I want to now hand it over to
Ms. Ravenna. So with that, I guess we can wind up this session. So on behalf of the association, I would like to thank everyone for joining with us, for committing your time, and for sharing your knowledge and experience on happy parenting, which would be very useful for almost all the parents, and for the educators as well. So thank you very much for joining with us.
Thank you once again to one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Yeah, and I would like to thank Mr. Janaka Kamagudu, the president of our association, for creating this platform. And thank you, Ms. Rowena R.J. Phillips, for organizing this panel discussion, which was indeed a successful session. And we hope to have many more exciting events like this in going forward. And finally, I would like to remind you once again about the summit. It's the South Asian International Summit for Quality Education 2022, which will be held from 28th to 30th October 2022 in Lucknow, India. So I invite you all, if possible, join with us on this summit. And thank you, Mrs. Rose.
May I request all the beautiful women to smile and brighten the screen, please? So thank you once again. Thank you,
Thank you, Rovina. And bye to all
Thank you to all the panelists. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.